So I get this question all the time. How do you make your chickpeas? How do you make your chickpea salad? And finally the time has come where I have a free second to actually make the wee video, okay? So that's what today's video is going to all be about. It's going to be taking you through step by step the process of me making my wee chickpea salad, okay? This is, if you follow me long enough, you know that this is one of the staples in my diet. I have it basically every day, at least once a day, and I just absolutely love it because it gets loads of nutrients in. It's packed with fibre, it's high in protein, and it's really well balanced, a really well balanced meal, okay? You're hitting all your macros, you're hitting loads of nutrients, loads of vitamins. So I'm going to take you through each step of the process and also show the ingredients. So I hope you enjoy the wee video and let's get stuck in. So for this recipe, you're going to need, I always cook with two tins of chickpeas, okay? So I would eat 2 tins of chickpeas a day. And then just talk you through the rest of the wee ingredients. I cook my chickpeas. Again, you can pick any herbs and spices that you like, but this is one of the ones that I love the most. This is a mango masala from Wicked Kitchen. You get it in Tesco, and the reason why I love it so much is because it has the likes of turmeric and stuff in it, and turmeric is an excellent spice. It's probably one of the best spices you can include in your diet because it's so anti-inflammatory and protects against cancer and stuff. And then I pair that with some paprika, and then just to be weird, I also add in some mixed herbs. Again, it's just to have a wide variety of stuff. Make sure you're hitting loads of wee different vitamins and nutrients and all stuff like that. Now you have to make sure that you rinse your chickpeas, okay, or any kind of legume that you get out of a tin, and that's just because they come with like a residue that can be really hard on your digestive system. So if you rinse that off, then you won't get the same bloating and gas effects that you would normally get if you would usually not rinse it off. So after rinsing the chickpeas, you're going to add them to the pan, and obviously then turn it on and leave for a bit. There's no, like I said, there's no oil or there's no water or anything on this pan. It's just a non-stick pan, okay? This is the way I would start the cooking process of my chickpeas. So the spices are going to go on first here, okay? Because you don't want to be adding the vinegar on yet, as you want the chickpeas to crisp up. There we go, a wee bit of this. Mix it about. Add some of these. The spices are on and all mixed about. Just leave them on a pan to crisp up for a while, and then you're going to add the tomatoes and the vinegar. Exactly. So the brilliant thing about vinegar, as well as it having those digestive benefits, is also that it is very good for reducing blood sugar spike. So it has been shown in research, in scientific research, that if you add just 2 teaspoons of vinegar to a high glycemic meal, so a meal very high in carbohydrates, that it will actually reduce the blood sugar spike by 23%. Now that's a lot, okay? That is really, really good. And the reason why that will help, especially when it comes to health, longevity and weight loss in particular, is because when your blood sugar spikes, you get that wee crash, and when you get that crash is when you're more likely to crave those sugary foods, your cravings will heighten. You'll want to reach for that chocolate bar instead of a piece of fruit because it has that quick spike, you know. It'll be much harder, and your willpower will probably be much lower if you're going through this cycle all day long. It is a vicious cycle of this insulin spike and crash and insulin spike and crash. It lowers your energy, lowers your mood, and then what comes with that? Eating the wrong foods, because then you're comfort eating and you're not eating out of true hunger. You're eating out of for the soul, and that's when you do reach for those more processed kind of foods. So vinegar is also excellent for that, for reducing your blood sugar spike in a high glycemic meal. Now the meal I'm having, it wouldn't be high glycemic as like the likes of having a
big bowl of potatoes or something, because obviously there's no potatoes in my meal, but it is still very good for lowering that glycemic index. Please tell me I'm not the only one. When they cook, they can't help but absolutely wreck the place. Right, so now you can see I'm adding some lime juice to the avocado. And what's brilliant about adding lime, so lime is a vitamin C source to an iron source. So here, dark leafy greens are obviously a high iron source in this meal, is it actually increases the absorption of iron into our system, which is quite important, especially for vegetarian and vegans, to get your iron content in. And this is just a good wee way to actually increase that absorption. I'm also going to throw some of these mushrooms on as well. And what I really like about these mushrooms is they're vitamin D, they have vitamin D in them. So there you go, just 4 to 5 mushrooms provide you with 100% of the daily reference intake of vitamin D. And now that's quite important, especially in the winter now, because we're not getting, especially in Ireland, relation today, we won't get the vitamin D levels that we need. And like you said, it contributes to maintenance of normal bones. So we do need we should be supplementing with it in the winter, and this is a good wee mechanism because it's just in your food then. The good thing about this wee stir fry mix is that there's also edamame beans in it, which is just an extra protein source. They would also be quite high in protein for the likes of vegetarians and vegans like myself. So I only used half of this because there's quite a bit in it. As you can see, there's red cabbage, there's onion, there's normal cabbage, there's a wee bit of courgette, and then there's also some spinach and some carrot. So obviously this is just added nutrients, added vitamins into the wee meal, and then there's the wee edamame beans as well. I've now added the kale in, chopped it up, and we're gonna let it cook down for a minute or two. This meal off with some Himalayan salt, just to taste. Now you're probably wondering why I always cook with chickpeas, and the reason why I do is because I think they taste great. It tastes like wee mini potatoes to me if you cook them properly, the way I showed you. So reduce the water, add all the vinegar and all afterwards, let them crisp up first on a non-stick pan, and that's how you get the wee crispy element to it. But another reason why I always add some form of legume into my diet, so the legume family are chickpeas, lentils, peas, beans, split peas, all those kind of foods fall into the same category of legumes. And now legumes are one of the foods that are shared by all the centenarians around the world. So there's places in the world called blue zones where people live to 100 and over. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people in those wee places living to well over 100, healthy, like still living, not on hospital beds. And the one thing that they all share in their diet is they all eat legumes. So I always make sure that I have some form of legume in my diet every single day. Maybe some days I'll have 2 kinds, I'll have lentils, I'll have chickpeas, I'll mix it up. Sometimes I'll have beans, but chickpeas would be my favorite, just because of the taste. Another amazing thing about legumes, chickpeas and beans and all that, is that they actually have something called the second meal effect. Okay, so if you were to have the likes of chickpeas or beans or whatever for dinner, breakfast the next morning, they actually help to again contribute to that insulin spike. So if you had a bowl of Cocoa Pops the next morning but hadn't had beans the night before, you had something else, maybe another protein source, it wouldn't help control that blood sugar spike in the morning. Whereas if you add a legume into your diet for dinner, then it won't just regulate your blood sugar for that meal, it will also have the extra benefit of doing it the next day, which I think is absolutely amazing. Like, food really is medicine, and that's what I stress to all my clients, and that's the way I try to live my life. Don't get me wrong, the odd time I will have something off plan, but I do try and stick to whole foods when I can. It makes me feel amazing, gives me so much energy, it makes me recover so well in the gym, makes me give 150% in sessions, and also it keeps my skin clear. And that's the most amazing thing for me, because obviously I suffered really badly with acne, and through these wee tweaks in my diet, I actually cured it through diet. But enough waffling on, I could go on all day, but I really hope you enjoyed today's wee video, and I hope you got something out of it. Sorry that it took so long to make it, but it's here now anyway, and I'm going to try and keep up the rest of the videos for the next few weeks. But yeah, have a lovely day wherever you are.